All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us for the Trep Show. We're at Trep Show number 3 today. We're bringing it to you Avelo Roy. He's a marketing Trep, and he's started several businesses. He's running a few now. And here's my co-host, Alexis.
How you doing, guys?
All right. So it seems like everything's working okay. I think, what we're going to share with you guys a little bit is briefly, we're going to take you into the journey that Avelo's had through his entrepreneurial endeavors. I met Avelo when we were around college, when I was finished with college, and met him back then, and he had already started a business. So he'll tell you about that. And we're going to get into, after we hear his story about how he got into it, we're going to then find what he's doing today, what he's working on, and then maybe where he's going to see himself in the next couple of years with the businesses that he's running. Alexis, you got anything you'd like to bring up, clarify that we're going to talk about today?
Not really. I just want to hear his story, and then along the way, we can always ask the right questions according to his experiences.
Yeah, for sure. And towards the end of the show, for those of you with us right now, we will open the seat up and let you join us. So I'm going to go ahead and lock it right now. And we'll let you come on and ask questions and join the conversation with us. That's what's so great about Blab here. We'll be paying attention to your comments on the side too. So ask questions there. I believe if you use /Q and then type in something, it will pop in as a question. Avelo, you ready to get started?
Sure.
All right, man. Well, I'm glad you joined us again. Thanks again for joining us. So it's so early for you right now.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, so start out by telling us, your journey, what got you into entrepreneurship and how you got all started in this, becoming an entrepreneur and a business owner.
It was always a dream. I was a very, very shy kid growing up, and I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So when I was in 8th grade, I wrote a letter to Bill Gates asking him, I want to be a business partner. And he was very kind to actually respond back. Sorry, I don't have the opportunities right now, but maybe in the future. So, but that stayed with me, and eventually, when I reached the United States for my undergrads, I was looking for opportunities. One day, I was drinking water in my dorms in the fountain, and I saw a flyer that said "Business Idea Challenge," 1-page submission. Like, okay, great, but there was a clause that I had to get a co-founder to be able to apply for it. So it's like, okay, who do I find? And then I wrote an email to 3 of my most smartest friends, and only one of them responded back. That's Ed. And he and I brainstormed for a month, applied for the business plan competition, and won. And it started from there. So started with a very simple idea. I was in US, like my family and everything. So every semester every break, I would have to come home, spend a lot of money to hug my family, my mother, my grandmother. So I was like, how cool would it be if I had a hug jacket? A jacket which would give me the sensation of hug. Even now we have that, right, for video games and whatnot, tactile clothing. But back then I was thinking this is 2005, 2006. And after a lot of brainstorming, came out that, okay, we can make that hug jacket happen. We won the competition, so won like $250. And that got us started. So at the Illinois Institute of Technology, we have something called the iPro program, which every undergrad has to take. So it's basically interprofessional projects. Students from different majors and backgrounds get together to solve a problem. So as a winner of this competition, we got to create our own team. We got to create our own iPro and get the best students on campus to come and join us. And very quickly we realized we didn't have the money or the resources to do that. And Philips had already invested $4 million in 4 years into tactile clothing. So at that point, being undergrads and with having no money, we decided that we will take the core value of connecting those who are physically separated, emotionally together, and narrow down to a different market. And we did a lot of market research from senior citizens, Department of Defense, and then finally narrowed down on the tween market, the girls aged between 8 and 12. At that time, Children were not allowed to be on Facebook. MySpace was a hub for predators. Parents were scared. So we were like, okay, great. It's an underserved market. Let's create a fashion jewelry, a wearable technology. So back then, wearable technology was unheard of. Every person we spoke to, smart fashion, they were like, what? Smart, like good looking? I'm like, no, smart as in smart. Technology. So long story short, we won several national business plan competitions, got $40,000 before when we graduated. Our team, student team, created the first prototype. Then Ed and I went ahead and raised venture capital. It took us almost a year. This was 2009 when we graduated. So the economy was really, really bad. Nevertheless, we got funded. We went to China, made the hardware, made the software in Macedonia, and then we made that in Vietnam. So website, social network. So it was basically for girls to connect with each other in the real world with a smart necklace. And those who were friends in the real world become friends online on a social network where there is no search feature. So very much catered to the parents' concern and the girls' likability of being in a social platform online. So that took off and then went down. It was supposed to be a short time span. We knew that. And then with that success, I built multiple other companies. So Ed and I, myself, built companies in food, in marketing, in travel. So right now I'm running a couple of companies in the US that are merging. Both are software companies. And in India, there is a manufacturing business. It's a family business that we have. So we manufacture transformers, bus ducts, bus bars, control panels for power plants and steel plants. I also started an investment company in India where we're investing in the startups because tremendous talent is here, but they don't have the startup ecosystem that I got access to in the United States, in Chicago, when I was starting out. So I wanted to do something for my home country. So we started KolkataVentures.com. And we're giving out seed funding to 10 startups this July. That's my latest thing. And also I'm merging two of my software businesses. So we're going to have 40 employees, 3 locations, Hong Kong, Vietnam, India, actually 4, and Chicago.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where I stand currently.
Very cool.
From PFF gems, the necklaces to 7 businesses later, right now here.
Yeah, I'm curious if that when you had raised your first time raised VC money back in like 2009, I wonder like how that sounds like it was like a really big achievement since businesses were so scared about where their next dollar was going to come from, weren't they?
Absolutely. I mean, at that time, everybody was like, come back in 3 months. It's really bad time. But eventually, Sandbox Industries was our investor, and we met them, and in 10 minutes, they made the decision. That was the fastest VC we have seen.
Wow.
Literally, we met them for the first time. They invited us for open house of Sandbox. It was incubation/investment. And they asked us, how much do you need? And we gave them a use of funds document. They said, we'll invest double the money. We were like, whoa.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
So do you have some advice for entrepreneurs about, what you had learned? Was that a great relationship for you? Was there anything you learned about, taking VC money? You're also taking on a partner. So I wonder, what kind of advice you have for somebody to give when they select a VC?
Yeah, I mean, they were extremely friendly. They told us, we asked them, we've heard, we were young, we were 21 years old. We asked them, like, we are taking money from you. Does that mean you're going to micromanage us? I openly asked them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no, we want our entrepreneurs to lead, and we need to support our entrepreneurs. So there's no question of micromanaging. They did not even take a board position. They took an advisory role. They would come to our advisor meetings, and they gave us space. They gave us money. They gave us connections, back office, all the support we needed to succeed. And now they don't invest in outside companies, as far as I know. But at that time, we were the only outside company they had invested in. And it was a very, very good experience. For entrepreneurs, I can tell you one thing that really helped was we had thought through everything. We had tremendous amount of market research. We had filed for patents. We had a business plan that had changed 80 times. That means we were changing with the market. We were not stagnant. We knew exactly what's happening in the market. Our user funds document, and thanks to my business partner, Edward, he did a fantastic job that the money we were asking for was accounted for by the penny, exactly what will be used where. So that was basically the deal sealer. When our investors saw the prototypes we had, they were impressed. When they saw the user funds documents, they just went through it. They're like, wow, these guys really thought through, and they know exactly what they want and what the roadmap looks like. So that was a very good thing in terms of credibility.
Yeah, definitely.
And I recommend that for others as well, that if you want to be credible, don't just come out and ask for $1 million and expect people to give it to you. Because nobody's going to give you $10 unless they know you and they have the relationship with you, right? So are you going to give $10, Gary, to anyone? You don't know? Question.
Right.
So what's big of $1 million? So that's why we should be networking. We should be talking to people, getting our name out there, talking about our ideas. Many people are scared. Oh, I don't want to tell my ideas to anyone if they steal it. Hey, A, 98% of startups fail. B, most people have ideas. They don't execute, right? That's what makes entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs. Because many people want to be entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs actually execute. They might have a crappy idea. I had a crappy idea, a hug jacket, right? But we changed, we morphed, we found out what the market wanted, and we created that for the market. So that is very important, to execute. So don't be shy. Go out and tell everyone you have a good idea. Get their feedback, get criticized, and get your name out there. So when people know you exist, only then they can think of giving you an opportunity.
I like that. That's real great advice. Definitely, act on it. Act on what you want to do. Really think about making it happen. Just get out there. Don't wait for the perfect plan, right?
Right.
Were you also building your plan while you were going out there? Because it sounded like you did do a lot of preparation and we were prepared.
Absolutely. You see, the business plan competitions really, really prepped us up. Because every weekend we were going to one university or another for a business plan competition. And we were undergrads. So we were going to MBA level business plan competitions, which required that you have an MBA person in the team. So we somehow recruited an MBA from our MBA, business school, who really didn't have anything to do with the business. We just wanted to be there. So we were always the youngest guys in the team. We won against Harvard, MIT, Cornell, University of Chicago. So really big universities, and we got money. So every university had VCs and angel investors, and they had their decks that they wanted us to prepare. So we were very, very prepared by meeting the requirements of the business plan competitions. And we were grilled like anything in those competitions by the judges, by the VCs. So we knew exactly all the questions you could ask us. We were ready for it before the VCs, the real investors, could ask us. So it was great. We were very, very prepared while we were raising money. So fundraising was a huge thing, but at the same time, we were preparing ourselves and doing market research, changing with the market, very much so. I continue to do the same right now. There's tremendous amount of market research that goes into when I do any business. Like my next business, first business took 5 years, just a learning curve and whatnot. My second business was 21 days. So ideation to production to launch, making money, and when 1 month we're cash flow positive. And in that case, also we did the time that we spent mostly was in market research, finding out what works with people. It was food business, so we went to all the grocery stores and looked at the packaging and asked questions to people, gave samples to people, asked them, what do you think? Is it right? Getting the recipe corrected, getting the packaging right. And it's amazing. We tested it on if we change the color of the packaging, what happens? Whoa, sales just went down. If it is, so I always do, no matter what business it is, market research is very important. Knowing your market and then build your product based on what the market wants.
Great advice. I really like that advice you were also just talking about too. I think I'm curious, when you started this business outside of graduating college, was this your first job, starting the business and going out and raising money for yourself?
Yes. It was a bad time. Nobody was giving us money. So it took us 1 year to get our first funding. But Ed and I both decided we would not get a job. We would keep pushing it. So to survive, we actually had to start the food business, the OMG biscuits. We were in a studio apartment. Ed and I had shared a studio apartment, so we had very tight on money. We were 1 month away from being homeless.
Wow.
And we were still inviting friends over. I love baking and cooking. And so one of my friends tried my cheese biscuits. I was like, oh, this is great. I love it. We should sell it. And we're like, okay, we'll sell it. So next morning, we just went out to Whole Foods, Treasure Islands, I think in another grocery store, and had them try our biscuits. And they were like, we love it. We will sell it. But we asked, how much do you want? They said 50%. Like, okay, we cannot afford that. And we cannot do it 7 days a week. We can do it only once a week. So what do we do? So we decided to go to farmers markets and directly sell to consumers. So Friday all day for 8 hours, I would bake. And Saturday all day, we would sell. And 5 days a week, we would be doing the technology business, preparing and fundraising and whatnot. So that's how we made $3,000 a month from 2 days of work a week from the food business.
That's so profitable.
Yeah, we did not get a job. We used another business to jumpstart our technology business.
That's really great. You know, I've been hearing a lot like successful entrepreneurs really say they hope that everybody, because we're like that, people that start a business, we want other people to enjoy the rewards. And they're like, you know, I wish every person would try to go and start a business and be an entrepreneur before ever going out and getting a job, because it's a really great learning curve and you learn a lot and you take risks and it teaches you a lot about really what can I do and what can't I do, because you don't have anybody else to rely on, right? And so you've really got to figure out, you know, how much can I do myself? How much do I need other people to help with? And I think it's a great place for us to really learn about our own strengths and figuring out what skills we have.
I'm just wondering, like, what's your favorite industry out of all the business you've been doing in different areas? I'm just wondering, what do you like most, actually?
You know, I've found healthcare to be the most profitable industry. And healthcare seems to, there's a lot of inefficiencies in the system. There's a lot of money. As we know, our US healthcare system is not the most efficient. And we, as a software company, we very much are good at automation, process automation. So we have been able to connect systems, automate systems, get rid of redundancies, save doctors a lot of money. And when you have a happy doctor, he's more efficient. He can see more patients. So I find healthcare to be very, very rich. And there's a lot of opportunity for improvement in the U.S. healthcare system.
Great. And so that brings us into like kind of what you're doing now. Does that have anything to do with the businesses that you're running now and what direction you're heading?
What has to do with the current business?
Healthcare business. Like, so is the healthcare industry something you want to serve?
Correct. So yes, some of the projects I'm doing are with health. Some of the major projects I'm doing are in the healthcare area, and we are taking care of some software automation issues, like I said, and that's been very, very. It's been learning experience, but it's also it shows that how much the spectrum is for us to exploit in terms of opportunity.
Oh, great. So do you have any like any current clients or current projects that you can share with us about current stuff your team and your business is doing?
I am under NDA, so I rather not speak about the clients in public.
Sure, I understand.
I can talk about current clients, not right now.
What's that?
Past clients I can talk about. Current clients, not right now.
Okay. Oh, okay. Got it.
Maybe you can send like the link, you know, so that we can all have a look at it. You know, on the right side, the live chat. You can send the one you want to share, and we can all have a look at it later.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Like, just like you put it right in the comment section, and we can all visit it, you know, after the show too, or anytime you like.
Yeah, and that's it. Would be good.
I'm doing it from my phone, so.
So, what kind of phone are you using?
I'm using iPhone.
iPhone? Yeah. Great products. So, well, then let's go into like, you sound like you learned a lot, and then you grew fast, and you started just generating ideas. So, where do you think all this is going to take you in your future in the next couple of years with this, with your business? What type of business you think you'll stay in? What direction you want to go?
I love product development.
Okay.
And with the team of 40 people, that's extremely brilliant and bright, at the best of the best from India, at the best of the best from Vietnam. And we can pretty much build any product. So right now, I have all the resources I need. I'm building products for other people, but there are some products in the pipeline as well that I'm going to launch in the next several months. And they're a culmination of what I have learned from all the businesses I've done, all the consultancies I've done, and all the mistakes I've made. Having learned from those, I'm going to put them into the products I'm building in-house through my company. So I'm actually merging two of my software companies together. There's QK LLC and there's Pongworks. QK I started, Pongworks was started by my friend Gary, but we are merging them together to become a bigger company, and also have a partnership in Hong Kong for hardware company called Spring Ventures. So
Okay.
That's helping me software, hardware to cover both sides. I've not done hardware since my first business because it's just so expensive.
Uh-huh.
And so I was novice. But anyway, so you will see a lot of products coming out from my side. If not a lot, but a few for sure in the next 2 years. And also I will be investing in startups and companies. Especially I'm very interested in the fashion industry and the more in the movie, the Hollywood, in that area, because I've not tapped it, but they seem to have a lot of untapped resources, especially for technology. They have done very, very well. But in terms of web and other technologies, I've seen that they could use a lot of it. So that's where I seem to be. I want to invest, and I also bring out some products.
Very cool. Awesome.
You will have to.
Yeah, it must be.
I said you will have to keep us updated about that, and we'd love to see your products, your next product coming in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like Alexis, like after the show, we'll have it up. We'll have it up on our website. It'll be here on Blab, and then of course over on YouTube. So you can always take the iframes and stuff, of course, and put it anywhere you like. But we'll follow up with you and kind of keep seeing how things go, and maybe update our own website about the show, because we like to. We're building this, and we're trying to see how things go in the first 5 shows, and then see after that, like kind of from a content standpoint, how much more we can help people. Because our idea came out of trying to do this was really just to connect with other entrepreneurs, provide valuable content to help entrepreneurs, because we know, how much how much the tides against you are to fail. So we really have a lot of hard work ahead of us, and entrepreneurs like you that come in can give people good advice about what your successes were and what helped can save a lot of people a lot of heartache on any endeavor they want to do.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of work. So I don't want to discourage anybody. I still think that if you have a business idea or you want to do something, the best way to figure out for yourself is just to go out and do it. Don't let anybody tell you what you can or can't do. And
don't waste time trying to figure out, what's going to happen. No, I don't have rich parents and this and that. There are so many excuses I hear. Nothing can stop you. If you really want to do it, just go ahead and do it. Maybe you'll fail a little bit, but keep going at it. There's one quality of an entrepreneur that I think all of us could agree upon that makes a person successful is grit, right? Uh-huh. I started my business in college with many of my friends who started business. And at the first level of complication, somebody's business partner left and they quit the project. Somebody got a job, a very nice job, and they quit the project. So, that's the difference between an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody who will not move. They will keep their eye on the long-term success and keep persevering. The grit is very, very strong. And that is needed. For example, the Jack Ma from Alibaba.
Yeah.
He was rejected like 300 times. Funny enough, you were rejected by 300 VCs before we got our
Yeah,
first
yeah.
fund. But you keep going. You keep going, and the way we went, because it can be very stupid also to keep going at a bad idea. So the way I judged if I was on the wrong path or not was looking at the market. I would talk to, the market that I was talking to, and the eyes would tell me. Their eyes, when they glittered up, like, wow, that's such a great idea. I knew I had something. Even if VCs told me that this is not the right thing, I wouldn't stop. So that's what you do. You validate your idea with your market, and you keep going till you see success. If your market rejects you, forget it. Move on. Twist it, turn it, do something else.
Yeah.
But as long as your market's with you, keep at it.
Great. Great advice. I really think.
Yeah.
Glad. I want to let everybody know that's watching. We opened the seat up, so if you have questions for Avelo, you want to join us, anything that came to mind that you'd like to share and want to ask questions, please hop in. Join the seat. I'll bring you right in. As we're nearing towards the end and we're going to wrap up, I'm curious if you have some advice for someone, because not a lot of people can get the idea to start a business, go out, and then how much money did you raise in your first business?
We raised in the six figures.
Okay. See, and that's a lot of money, and you did not have a job outside of college. So these people really put a lot of trust and faith in you that you guys are going to do what you say you did, and that you could be responsible with it. So I'm curious, you had a success, but was there still some more extra advice you can give people that what would help them really, make themselves stand out so that people will take them seriously and they can take that money responsibly and build their business?
Yeah, absolutely. It boils down to being a human being, a good human being. That's where it all starts. Having qualities like respect, honesty, humility. These things are super important. We think skills can be taught to anyone. When we got the investment, our investors were very clear that we are investing in you two guys because we like you very much. We believe in you. And even if this business fails, we know you will succeed somewhere form. And that's because what they had heard about us from other people, and also because what they saw in us. And I think that is extremely important to build that reputation. I have a blog called AveloRoy.com.
Okay.
And that's what I write. I write a lot of startup advice on AveloRoy.com, but things I have learned. And one of the articles is network net worth. I talk about network, how a network helps you, but how you build it, how you build your reputation, and over time that becomes such a key commodity. My TED talk was on currency of relationships, and I was sharing how I built $1 million company based on zero money. It was all relationships, and relationships come from qualities that you carry. When you have nothing, as a student, I had nothing.
Yeah.
No rich parents, nothing, no background. I'm not even a citizen of US. But I kept on asking people, what can I do for you? And these are millionaires and billionaires, They don't need anything from a person like me. But I was always grateful. But that gratitude came up. And people said, we appreciate you say that, you want to help. That's good enough. When you are something, we will ask you for help. And they did eventually. But initially, that's all it took. So when we applied for patent, our lawyer, John Ambrogi, he took a risk. He applied for the patent. There was $18,000 worth of expenses on his side. He spoke to his partners in his firm, told them, I know this guy will give back the money. It's my liability. Let me take this risk for them.
Yeah.
And it was 10 months after he saw the first dollar, right? But 10 months, he got a lot of pressure from his peers and from his partners, but he took that risk, right? So, and there were others also, people who had full-time jobs, engineers, designers, developers who are working for free. It was all based on relationship, trust, based on the qualities that me and my business partner exhibited. So I feel that is very important. When you have that, even if your business fails, you are going to succeed.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, and you're going to be able to rebuild it. In an entrepreneur's life, many times it happens, from 7 figures to 2 figures or single-digit figure. or you go back to 7 figures. It happens a lot. Happened to me. But you can rebuild yourself only when you have that innate infrastructure. I call that, infrastructure of your mind, the
Yes.
mentality.
Yes.
When you have that, you can rebuild yourself no matter how many times you fall. And that is extremely important.
That's
Unless
great
you get
advice.
lucky.
I'm just wondering how do you stay motivated, and how do you what drives you, like to do that many businesses and always like go forward?
It's hard. It gets very hard. It can get very depressing, especially when you don't have many people like you. Entrepreneurs are very lonely people, and a lot of times, unless they have entrepreneurial friends, because people don't understand what you do. They see you as risk takers. They glorify you at your success. They spit at you at your failure. So it can be a lonely journey. Sometimes even your family doesn't understand what you're doing, except for the fact that, you're doing something that they can be proud of. So the motivation part, you have to be self-motivating. Unless you have some mentors, which you should have, who can be there to tell you, I'm there for you. I got your back. That's good enough. Entrepreneurs are generally very strong-willed, so they don't need too much, but a little bit of push from somebody who is successful, who tells you, I got your back. I'm there for you. That's all it takes. And and to be honest, in my case, I am not the kind of person who can be confined to a desk job.
Yeah.
Who can be happy being in a 9-to-5 environment, right? Different people are built differently. I like to have something that I live and breathe, and I can die for it, and it can kill me. That's the adventure that I like, and that's a lifestyle I've chosen with entrepreneurship. It's not for everyone, and I don't recommend it for everyone. Only people who can actually withstand it can go for it. Otherwise, have a comfortable life, be happy. You can be happy in any situation. Happiness is a state of mind. But for entrepreneurs, it's different species, different breed.
Definitely, man. I agree with you on that. Well, I want to, there's a few more questions I have, but if you got more time and you want to hang out with us, I'm just going to pause the recording and end the show here. And what's that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Glad you can join us some more. So everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm just going to pause the recording, but we're going to stick around. So please hang out with us, join the conversation, and jump on the seat, or just pop some questions on the comment bar. I'd be happy to have you. So we appreciate everybody joining us. We're going to have this up on other platforms later, so we'll have the links down here where you can watch the replays. And we really thank you for joining us. Look for our shows coming up every week, Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. We have shows booked up all the way through June, so we hope Blab sticks around with us and continues onward. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Make sure we got the pause going here.
Let me know when you're ready. Okay.
All right.
So in terms of penetrating a market that has very stiff competition, strategic partnerships help. Co-branding helps. So find a partner who is a little bigger than you, maybe not a lot bigger, where you get eaten up, but somebody who's bigger than you. Having backing from a university where there's a lot of intellectual property, and having some press and media. All these things help you build you to be bigger than who you are currently. So when that happens, big companies give you attention, and you are not at the risk of being swallowed, because it is stiff. I've heard, in one case, that a major toy company, was hiring people to send them to Target to pull out toys and drop them and break them at Target and then other Best Buy and different places, which the toys were invented by a startup company.
Okay.
It struggled a lot to get to Target, and they were just destroying their toys. And this was paid for by a large company. So things like that happen when you're alone in the playing field. When you're together, then you're much bigger than you are. So my suggestion is, be together, be big, collaborate, partner up, strategic partnership, co-brandings, and have somebody to cover your back, and that will help you a lot. And be known to people. Market the heck out of it. Get bloggers to write about you. Get feedback on your product. Go out. Just talk in public audiences. Get out there so people know you exist. You cannot be crushed. So that's super important. Okay.
Great. Let's see. You got another question. Yeah, maybe I should simplify. He's talking about new insights that you can bring that aren't available in literally every marketing textbook. He doesn't mean to sound demeaning, but so far he hasn't heard anything novel. Okay, Ruben. Well, apparently he's like pushing hard for some I don't know, truth or something like that. I think marketing too is also you can approach it very differently. Running a business for me has been a lot about how my personality is, because for me, when I create a business and I'm doing marketing and stuff, I am talking to an audience that I can talk to. And so from a marketing standpoint, there's just I'm not going to talk to everybody, and I'm going to have my own unique style as well too, which would be a message.
So,
how many
I love the follow-up question. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead. You finish up with it.
No, you go ahead.
No, go for it.
This is it's true. What I'm saying might be found in different books, but what really makes a difference is when you go talk to your market. That's a unique thing I can tell you. Is actually engage with your market and let them tell you what they want. That's what I did with the two examples I gave you. I called 300 marketing companies to find out what is their problem, and I solved it, and they were willing to pay $1,000 a month. So it's unique, only based on who you're talking to, what market you're serving. I cannot tell you an unique idea for marketing. All I can tell you is talk to your market and let them guide your decision-making process. Translate marketing to product design, and you will succeed. And your expertise as an entrepreneur is when you can successfully translate market research to product design.
Yeah. Great advice. I hope that helps you, Ruben. Yeah, continue on those tough questions. It's okay. You're really trying to solve us some hard issues. We know that you got to ask. You got to ask questions, and definitely to be able to get there. So, hopefully, you're getting some feedback. Can you give us a little bit more insight about these challenges or what it is you're studying? You said you're studying a master's level in a university. Economics master's students, right?
Let me look at the question again. I don't see the question. Can you read it one more time, Gary?
Yeah, sure. You're talking about the second question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he asked, maybe I should simplify what new insights can you bring that aren't available
the economics students. The economics students.
There was no question. He's just clarifying. He's clarifying that they're master students of economics right now.
Got it.
So he's given us really tough questions.
Yes, I agree. Very broad, it seems.
Okay, so there's another one, but as you're explaining it, you're just basically explaining how to use pre-existing data to make decisions. The real challenge lies in how to exactly predict future behavior.
I see where he's getting at. I mean, that's a hard one to crack, right?
Yeah.
But you always have to test. In marketing, You always have to test. Right. Try something new. Facebook does it all the time, right? And people go crazy. Why did Facebook change again? Oh, we don't like it. But eventually they learn to like it. But there's a lot of research that goes into it before they actually introduce a new feature, right? So we cannot predict the future. That's not possible. But we can have the best guess based on, so have a lot of analytics, have a lot of data, how people are using it. And you can have, the more you understand the market, the more you can understand where things are going, where's economics, where is politics, where is everything heading towards. And accordingly, I was recently approached by a movie company. They're doing a Spanish movie. So it's a Spanish-English movie, and they want me to invest. And they were saying, given the elections and the things Trump has said, and apparently some very popular Spanish show in the U.S. has just ended its season, this is the perfect time to create this movie and it's going to make millions of dollars. So that kind of understanding of what's happening around you helps you predict what might happen in the future. But more importantly is really knowing your market, asking questions, testing new things, and tweaking it based on how they use it. Like with email marketing, you change the subject line, you do A/B testing. You send one group one subject line, the other group another subject line, and see how they react, right? And based on that, you get better and better. This is how you learn as an entrepreneur, as a marketer.
Yeah.
And as you get better, you can focus more, and you learn. Things work. Eventually, you will be able to predict. It's a, I don't know how to speak it in book language, but it's gut instinct. You develop that instinct by trying it.
Ruben's asking, he's like, well, once again, you're bringing up based on pre-existing data. Well, sorry, Ruben, but that's all we get. We don't get data from the future. Nobody's been able to figure out data from the future yet. If you find it, please share.
I would love to know what is the lottery ticket, like which number it is, so that we just play and win.
Yeah. I think, I guess, when you're in college and stuff and you're really at things, it's like you're frustrated because you really want something that I think once you, with experience, you start learning later that you're never going to get, because the market could shift and they change and new products and services come out, which is going to affect your product and service. And then you've got to reshift and pivot to that. So a lot of it's really about being able to adapt and adjust and conform and to change with the market as it changes. Having the ability to do it quickly. Like you said, the first business took you 5 years. The second business took you 21 days. You learned how to do things a lot quicker. Speed is very valuable. Very valuable. Well, yeah, I guess he's thinking from an economic standpoint, right? Based on the fundamentals, which is based on predicting what will happen. But nobody can predict what can happen. You can guess and get right sometimes, and some people are better right than others.
It's all about figuring out what happened in the past and be able to judge according to what happened in the past and see what the future will become according to the past. But if you don't have the past, how can you predict the future? That's what I'm trying to think. Like, it's going to be really, really hard without like data and from the past years. And this is usually a habit. Like, every single summer, people tend to go on holiday more than winter, so then they will have more potential to sell some specific products that you wouldn't be able to sell in winter. But how would you know if you don't have the data in the past? That's what I thought. But yeah, that's my personal opinion about that.
Well, it seems like Ruben might have the answer to his own question, because he he keeps bringing up points that better answers than what we're given.
Let me say something to you, Ruben. Academics are very different from real life. You might read it in books that you might be able to predict future using economics. If that was the case, countries wouldn't be going through depressions. Wars wouldn't be happening. So you really cannot predict the future. Even if you have experience from the past, you have no clue what the future holds. Bill Gates said something very amazing that I keep remembering. He says, we always overestimate what will happen in 10 years, and we underestimate what is possible in 5 years. And that's a very truthful statement, because, things are changing very rapidly in terms of technology, economies, how people think. Millennials are so very different from the previous group. So, people are changing, life is changing. It's hard to predict, but those who can are the ones who make money. And those who really can predict the future really cannot predict more than maybe 1 or 2%. You might have a very good educated guess, and karma or luck, what have you. Those things you can ask any entrepreneur. Those things do play a very important role. You cannot put a formula to entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and I think, Ruben, you got to value.
We taught universities, and people would actually get degrees in it and do it successfully.
Yeah. Well, I think, Ruben, you'll learn too, Ruben, that there's a value to basics. There's a value to fundamentals. Overcomplicating everything doesn't always help. A lot of times the smartest people in the world are the dumbest people in the world, because they keep things so simple and they're so much more successful.
sometimes you have to learn this by actually doing it in the real world.
Yeah, you learn a lot more that way.
Great. So is that it? Should
Yeah.
pause?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
All right, I'll go ahead and pause the recording here.